G'day Maths Legends. You've probably heard that fractions is a little bit old school, but here we go. We're going to be learning about how to read, order and represent fractions on a number line. All right, good luck with your sums. Bah! All right, legends, so let's having a look at this sum here. Probably let's look at a fraction first. So the first two things that I want to represent to you guys is that up the top here with the fractions, remember that this is called a numerator, okay? So over here we always say this is called a numerator. And below is called a denominator, all right? And when we're adding fractions and we're subtracting fractions, we always talk about the fact that you never subtract or add the denominator, okay? That always remains the same. We're gonna have a look at that a little bit further. So that's just basic understanding of fractions. Looking down below, you can see there's a number line here. You can see there is a 0 and then there's a 1, okay? So if I was saying that this line here was a pizza, okay, if I was saying this line here was this full line here was a pizza, at this stage I would have eaten half of my pizza because that's a half. Halfway between 0 and 1 is a half. You can see the next slice, so let's say this is a slices of pizza. There are 2 slices. So that's dictated by, that little 2 is dictated by that little denominator down the bottom there, that little 2. You can see the denominator is 3 there. That tells you that this is broken up into 3 sections, okay? There are 3 sections there. So, just so that you might be aware, I'm just going to make this, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So over here, where it says 1/3, this over here would actually be 2/3 just here, okay? So that's really important that we understand that one. So that's 1/3 and that's 2/3. So, the next one we're going through, so you can see that this 1/3, so this slice of cake or whatever, or pizza you want to call it, is 1/3, you can see is actually smaller than 1/2. And you can tell that by the larger the number down the bottom. So the larger the number or the denominator, the smaller the size is going to be. All right, so you can see that that's 1/3. So this is 1/3 and then this is 1/2, okay? So the smaller the denominator, okay, now remember that's this part here. The smaller the denominator, so the larger the denominator, the smaller the piece. Larger the denominator, smaller the piece, all right? Let's have a look at the next one then. We'll move on down to here. You can see that we've got one that's 1/4, okay? You can say 0 to there is 1/4, then you'll have 2/4. Now, for those kids who've got a good understanding of fractions, you'll say, well, so that's just a half, and you are so right. And then we've got 3/4, okay? And just look at the shape here. If we get our shape and we're gonna go here, if we get our shape and we decide to make one here, you can see that that shape is smaller again, because this number down here is larger, okay? So you can see that that's larger. So again, when we go down to the next one, all right, if you understand this, you know that the denominator is smaller, you can see that the slice is going to be that big. So it's smaller again, and then down below at 1/6, down below where it says 1/6, again, we're going to go smaller again, all right? So that's when we're ordering fractions, we've got to try to put them in smallest to largest size, okay? That's where we put them in. I'll just put that back there. That was here, sorry. No, it was here. All right. Okay, all right. Let me just go backwards now. I'll just go back to where we were just to make sure so that we understand that the language that we're using is the unit fractions, that one has a numerator, one has a denominator. All right, let's look at the next page. Okay, legends, let's look at this one. So this one we want to show, we've got our number line. So you can see that we've got our number line all the way through here, okay? And we need to be able to put these fractions over here on this number line, okay? And what I've done is I've included our little pizza shapes down the bottom. And you can see that depending on what the denominator is how many slices I've got. So 1/2, 1/3, 1/4. So it's got 4 slices, 1/6, okay? And then 1/12, all right? So if I was to say to you, which slice would you want to eat? That you would get the biggest slice. You would still be hungry. If I gave you 1/12 of that, you're only getting that much. That's not very much at all. So that's really the smallest fraction here. Over here is quite the biggest fraction. That's a half. That's the biggest one. All right, let's have a look at these on a number line. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shade those amounts. So I've got 1/2 there. So 1/2 is going to be shaded. Okay, and I'll shade that in. All right, then I've got 1/3. We'll shade that in. Okay, 1/4. I'll shade the 1/4 in. 1/6. All right, and then 1/12. All right, so I know which pizza I'm eating. Straight away, if I look at this, I'm going to put in half because I've got 0. Okay, so I've got 0 here and I've got 1. I know that when I'm going to put my half in, I have to go between 0 and 1. And I need to find that halfway mark. And that halfway mark is here. Okay, so straight away I know that that is 1/2. Okay, that's 1/2 there. All right. Now, where does everything else go? Well, let's have a look. 1/12 is the smallest. 1/12 is the smallest. Okay. Now, 1/12 is actually going to go over here. The first one we do is 1/12. Okay. Then I'll work my way through. 1/6 is the next. 1/6 is the next one. Okay. All right. Again, my smallest one over here comes next. I've almost got them in order for you. Is 1/4. So halfway between half is 1/4, and that goes about there. 1/4. Okay. And then finally 1/3. 1/3. All right. And then 1/3. Okay. Goes about. Oh, wait a second. 1/3 here. Okay. All right. Very good. Enjoy your sums. Watch it again if you're unsure. No worries. See ya. Now, you might be saying too, what about all this space over here? You can see that from half all the way to 1, I've got all this vacant space. Why haven't I used that to put my fractions in? Well, that's because half, it's a 0 and there's a 1 there. And then that's at the halfway point, okay? That's at the third, so 1/3. And even then, really, that third, what I would like to do is grab this third. I can't grab him, unfortunately. And I'd actually like to move him a little bit more over this way, okay? But he's going to pick up the whole lot. So when we're looking at this side of the half, we would be looking at things like 2/3. So if we had a 2/3 one, so we're going to, let's say we change this and we want to make this 2/3, we can now see that that is more, or that is larger now than a half, okay? And we would put our 2/3, so 1/3 and 2/3 would be about here. Okay, 2/3. All right. That means that I'd be breaking this up between here and here into thirds. All right. And that would probably go, what's 1, 2, 3. So using my shape, if I was breaking up into thirds, that's 1/3. Okay. Then I would go again. That is 2/3. And then finally, I'd go back again, and that is 3/3, okay? But everything I've done is 1. You can see that everything's got a 1 up the top. All the numerators are all 1, all right? And that means that all those are actually smaller than a half. I would actually have to make that bigger to use this side, all right? Good luck with your sums. Watch the next one and see how they go. Otherwise, please make sure you come and see your teacher if you're stuck. All right, let's have a look at this one. Now, we can see that these are all unit fractions, and these are all already in pizzas for us. You can see that we have over here, we've got 1/6, so there's one slice. Well, that's 1/6, okay? So I might say that I've got 1/6 left, okay? So that means I've only got one slice left. That means someone else has already eaten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5/6 of that pizza. There's only 1/6 left. You can see this pizza over here has been chopped up into fifths. So there's 5 pieces in total, and we've already had someone eat 4 of those. Here is 1/3. You can see this has been chopped up into 3 slices. 1, 2, 3. Now, you can tell that someone's already had 2 slices of that one. This one is just cut straight in half, okay? These are all the same size pizzas. We've just chopped them up differently. So they all started out of the same size. And then 1/2. So if I was to say to you, if you could eat any of these slices, which one would you grab? Well, of course, you're going to grab the biggest chunk, aren't you? The biggest one. And the biggest one is 1/2. You can see that's a whole half, and that's quite a lot of pizza. And you can see, you notice that the numbers down the bottom, again, the larger the numbers are, the smaller our pizza size is. So 2 is pretty small. Look at the size of that pizza size. It's huge. 3, okay, we're getting bigger, but our pizza slices are getting smaller. So as our denominator goes up, you'll notice that our pizza slices are getting smaller and smaller, okay? You can see that 1/5, again, is much smaller. And then finally, 1/6 is the smallest. So if we're going to order these in order, and we want to go from the smallest fraction all the way to the largest fraction, okay, we're going to start with 1/6. 1/6 is the smallest. We can tell straight away that 1/6 is my smallest fraction. So I'm going to put that down here, 1/6, okay? Then my next smallest piece is the 1/5. 1/5. My denominator is 5. Numerator was always going to be the same because they're all 1. So 1, and then it's going to be third. Then 1. Sorry, I've jumped a number then. I haven't read that properly myself. I was too busy looking at something else. Let's go back there, and hopefully you picked up where I made that error. It isn't 1/3 because this slice here, right, is larger than this slice here. So hopefully you picked up on that. It is 1/4. Teachers love to test you. And then finally 1/3, and then we'll finish off with our largest fraction, which is 1/2. And again, what I'd remind you guys is that as you go through, the larger the slice, the smaller the denominator. So you can see that the slice down here is quite small. It's got quite a large denominator. It's 6, then 5. And as I go smaller, as I go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you'll notice that my pizza slices are even bigger. All right, let's have a look at the next one.